Istanbul is not just Turkey's largest city. It is a place where geography, history, and modern urban life collide at an extraordinary scale. More than 15 million people live here, meaning Istanbul is home to around 18% of Turkey's population. It is a megacity, one of the largest urban areas in Europe and among the biggest in the world by population. But what makes Istanbul especially unusual is that it is split between two continents. About two-thirds of its residents live on the European side, while the rest live on the Asian side. Ferries, bridges, tunnels, and highways connect neighborhoods that are technically divided by continental geography, yet function as one vast metropolitan organism. The key to understanding Istanbul is the Bosphorus. This narrow waterway cuts through the city and links the Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara, which in turn connects to the Mediterranean. That makes it one of the world's most important maritime passages. Ships carrying energy, grain, manufactured goods, and raw materials pass through these waters, often within sight of palaces, mosques, apartment blocks, and fishing boats. Istanbul grew at this exact location because it controls movement between seas and between continents. The city's geography made it a natural meeting point, but also a strategic prize. Whoever controlled Istanbul could influence trade, military access, and cultural exchange across a vast region. Long before it became Istanbul, the city began as Byzantium. Greek colonists founded it in the 7th century BC on the Saraburna promontory, a defensible point near the meeting of the Bosphorus, the Golden Horn, and the Sea of Marmara. This location gave the early settlement natural advantages. It had access to sea routes, protected harbors, and a position from which it could monitor traffic through the strait. Over time, those advantages transformed a local settlement into a city of imperial importance. Byzantium was not simply lucky, it occupied one of the most strategically valuable urban sites in the ancient world, and that geography would shape its destiny for thousands of years. In 330 AD, the Roman Emperor Constantine re-established the city as Constantinople. This was not just a name change. It marked the rise of a new imperial capital in the eastern Mediterranean. Constantinople sat closer to the wealth, trade routes, and military frontiers of the Eastern Roman world than Old Rome did. For centuries, it served as the capital of the Roman Empire in the East, later known as the Byzantine Empire. Its walls, wealth, churches, and administration made it one of the most powerful cities on earth. The city became a center of Christian civilization, imperial ceremony, law, art, and scholarship, helping preserve and transform Roman traditions long after the Western Empire declined. Constantinople's history was not a straight line of uninterrupted rule. It served as the capital of multiple empires, including the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, the Latin Empire after the Fourth Crusade, and eventually the Ottoman Empire. That sequence is one reason Istanbul feels layered rather than simply old. The city was captured, rebuilt, repurposed, and reimagined by different powers. The Fourth Crusade's capture of Constantinople in 1204 weakened Byzantine authority, and although the Byzantines regained the city in 1261, the empire never fully recovered its former strength. By the 15th century, Constantinople remained symbolically immense, but politically vulnerable, surrounded by the rising power of the Ottomans. In 1453, the Ottomans conquered Constantinople, one of the defining events in world history. The city became the capital of the Ottoman Empire and was transformed into a major Islamic imperial center. Churches, most famously Hagia Sophia, were converted into mosques, while new mosques, palaces, schools, markets, baths, and neighborhoods reshaped the urban landscape. The Ottomans did not simply occupy the city, they made it the seat of imperial power and, later, the seat of the caliphate. Istanbul became a political and religious center for a vast empire stretching across southeastern Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. Its skyline of domes and minarets still reflects this Ottoman transformation. Although Istanbul was the capital of empires for nearly 16 centuries, it is not the capital of modern Turkey. After the Republic of Turkey was established in 1923, Ankara became the new capital. This decision reflected a new national vision. Ankara was inland, more central within Anatolia, and symbolically separate from the imperial past. For Istanbul, this meant a period of relative political decline. Yet the city never lost its cultural or economic gravity. Palaces, imperial mosques, old city walls, bazaars, and waterfront neighborhoods continued to define it as Turkey's most recognizable city. The historic center is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserving the visible memory of its former central role. Istanbul's modern growth has been dramatic. Since the 1950s, its population has increased roughly tenfold. Much of this expansion came from migration from across Anatolia, as people moved in search of jobs, education, and opportunity. As the population surged, the city limits expanded, absorbing villages, farmland, industrial zones, and satellite districts into one huge metropolitan area. This growth changed Istanbul's social fabric. The majority of its Turkish citizens are ethnic Turks, while Kurds form the largest ethnic minority. The result is a city that contains many versions of Turkey at once: long-established urban families, recent migrants, working-class districts, business centers, coastal neighborhoods, and rapidly developing suburbs. Economically, Istanbul dominates Turkey. It accounts for about 30% of the national economy and is considered an alpha global city, meaning it plays a significant role in global business, finance, logistics, culture, and connectivity. The Istanbul-Izmit region is one of Turkey's major industrial corridors, supporting manufacturing, trade, and transport. Istanbul's ports connect it to maritime commerce, while its rail and road networks link Europe with Western Asia. This position is not new. It echoes the city's older role along the Silk Road and other trade routes. The same geography that made Byzantium and Constantinople powerful continues to make modern Istanbul economically indispensable. Istanbul is also one of the world's major travel destinations. In 2025, Euromonitor International ranked it as the 5th most visited city in the world. Visitors come for the scale of its history, but also for the intensity of everyday life: ferries crossing the Bosphorus, markets filled with spices and textiles, neighborhoods climbing steep hills, and waterfront views where ancient monuments meet modern traffic. The city has 2 international airports, helping connect it to Europe, Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and beyond. Tourism is not just about monuments here. It is about experiencing a city where layers of empire, religion, trade, and migration remain visible in daily routines. Culture in Istanbul is not limited to museums and monuments. The city is a center of education, science, technology, media, and sport. It contains numerous universities and ranks among the top 100 science and technology clusters in the world. Its football culture is especially intense, with major clubs such as Galatasaray, Fenerbahçe, and Beşiktaş commanding passionate support. Their rivalries are not only sporting events, they are part of the city's identity, tied to neighborhoods, history, class, and belonging. Istanbul's cultural power comes from this mix of high heritage and everyday energy. It is ancient and modern, imperial and popular, global and intensely local, all at the same time. Yet Istanbul's location also brings serious risk. The city lies close to the North Anatolian Fault, one of the most dangerous seismic zones in the region. Earthquakes have shaped Istanbul's past and remain one of its greatest future challenges. For a megacity of more than 15 million people, earthquake vulnerability is not a distant concern. It affects housing, infrastructure, emergency planning, transportation, and public safety. This tension captures Istanbul's larger story. Its geography made it wealthy, strategic, beautiful, and powerful, but also exposed. Istanbul exists because of its position between seas and continents, and that same position continues to define both its opportunities and its dangers. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.